The story opens with a woman named Virginia arriving to meet Eden, an Indian businessman who has been accused of killing his girlfriend, Laura. Virginia explains that she works for his senior attorney, a well-known defense lawyer, and informs him that he must testify that very night because the prosecution has reportedly found a new witness. She makes it clear that if he wants any chance of winning, he has to be completely honest with her. After hesitating for a moment, Eden begins recounting what really happened the night Laura died. He says they had already ended their relationship when they suddenly received a blackmail call demanding 100,000 euros and instructing them to meet at a remote hotel. They followed the instructions and waited. But then a strange message was sent from Laura's own phone, making them suspect it had been hacked and that someone was setting them up. As they prepared to leave, Eden was attacked from behind and knocked out cold. When he regained consciousness, police were pounding on the door. Inside the room, he noticed blood on a decorative object and then found Laura lying dead in the bathroom with a head injury and cash scattered around her. The moment he tried to lift her, officers burst in and arrested him. Virginia points out that the room had been locked from the inside, the windows were sealed because of the cold weather, and there were no signs of forced entry, which made Eden look extremely guilty. She pressures him again to tell the full truth and shows him a newspaper article about a missing teenage boy, something that clearly unsettles him. That's when Eden admits the real story began 3 months earlier. He had been cheating on his wife, Sonia, and secretly seeing Laura. He lied about traveling to Paris, but instead they spent the weekend together in a secluded cabin. While driving back to Barcelona, Laura pushed him to drive faster and tried to convince him their relationship wasn't wrong. Suddenly, an animal ran across the road, and Eden swerved, crashing into another vehicle that slammed into a tree. They rushed out and found a young boy named Daniel badly injured in the driver's seat. Eden wanted to call for help, but Laura noticed he wasn't wearing a seatbelt and had been texting while driving, so she argued that no one had seen the crash and they should leave. After some hesitation, Eden agreed. When another car approached, they staged the situation to look like a minor accident and exchanged fake details to avoid suspicion. Later, they hid Daniel's body in the trunk and pushed the car into a lake to erase any evidence. Soon after, a man named Thomas stopped to help. Laura lied, saying they had hit a deer and their car wouldn't start. Thomas seemed friendly and offered to tow their car to his house and fix it, chatting casually about his family, while Laura continued pretending to be someone else. Both of them quietly carrying the weight of a terrible secret. Laura has always loved books, especially classical literature, because she and her husband originally met through a theater club. When Thomas brings her home, he introduces her to his wife Elvira. Inside the house, Laura notices photos of the couple from their theater days, and that's when a terrifying realization hits her. Thomas is actually the father of the boy whose body she and Eden had just dumped in the lake. While Laura is in the kitchen, Elvira receives a call and learns that Daniel still hasn't come home. She tries calling her son, and Laura suddenly remembers that Daniel's phone is still in her pocket. Panicking, she quietly slips into another room and hides the phone under a pillow so it looks like he accidentally left it behind. Feeling overwhelmed, Laura says they should leave, and Thomas walks her out. On the way, he notices something strange. She adjusts the driver's seat before driving off, like someone who normally sits there. That small detail makes him suspicious. Later, Laura breaks down and confesses everything to Eden. They get rid of their car to remove any evidence and even report it missing. Afterward, they decide to separate and promise never to see each other again. A few days later, the police suddenly show up at Eden's office and take him to the station. They question him about Thomas and mention that a woman he helped was seen driving the car. Eden sticks to his cover story. To strengthen his alibi, he asks his lawyer to arrange a fake hotel booking and fake tickets to Paris so he can distance himself from Daniel's case. Meanwhile, it's reported that Daniel had stolen money from his workplace and disappeared. When Eden confronts Laura, she admits she stole Daniel's wallet while putting his body in the trunk and later hacked his bank account to make it look like he ran away with the cash. Eden tells her what she did was wrong, but Laura threatens to drag him down with her if he talks. Virginia finds this part suspicious because Laura is only a photographer, not someone capable of hacking bank accounts. Eden suggests she may have gotten help from her husband, who used to be a banker. Continuing the story, Eden explains how he later received a Businessman of the Year award. During the celebration party, Thomas showed up pretending to be a reporter and tried pressuring Eden into confessing the truth. Thomas also noticed Eden carrying the same cigarette case he had seen earlier while fixing Laura's car. He begged Eden to tell him where his son was, but Eden denied knowing anything and had security throw him out. Eden admits he was terrified. That day, afterward, Thomas took his wife home and then disappeared, and Eden never saw him again. Virginia says that now all the cards are on the table. There are 2 deaths connected to this mess. Officially, the police only care about Laura's murder. And Eden is their prime suspect, but Daniel's parents believe both deaths are linked. To solve everything, they must figure out the mystery of the locked hotel room. Eden says the only person who could have seen them dumping the car was the driver they had tricked earlier, so he believes that person is the blackmailer. Virginia replies that a jury will only believe solid proof, not guesses. Eden then explains that before being called to the hotel, they received a photo of the lake where they had dumped the car, along with instructions to bring the money. That's why he thinks the driver was blackmailing them. Virginia warns him that hiding information will only help the prosecution. Finally, she tells him she will only continue helping if he can answer 3 questions. How did the message come from Laura's phone? Why didn't the killer take the money if robbery was the motive? And how did someone enter and leave a locked room like a ghost? Eden admits he has no answers and tells her to surprise him with the truth, because even he doesn't know what really happened that night. Virginia says her best guess is that Thomas was already inside the hotel room before Eden and Laura even arrived, hiding and waiting for them. She believes that if they bring Thomas's name into the case, the jury might be convinced, because any father who thinks his son's killers are walking free would clearly have a strong motive for revenge. According to her, the only way to clear Eden's name is to call Thomas to the stand, but that would require Eden to confess what he and Laura really did to Daniel. Eden argues that this alone won't help unless they can also explain the mystery of the locked hotel room. Virginia then shows him several evidence photos and old newspaper clippings and tells him to study them carefully. In one photo, she points out that Thomas's wife was actually present at the hotel the night Eden was arrested. She explains that Thomas's wife worked there so she could have easily hidden Thomas inside the room and helped him escape later, since Eden's former lawyer had already removed Thomas's name from the case. The police never linked his wife to the incident either. Just then, Virginia receives a call and learns that the prosecution supposedly has a witness, the same driver who saw Eden and Laura at the time of the accident. Acting as Eden's lawyer, she suggests a new strategy. Blame everything on Laura and claim that Eden was in Paris the whole time and only got involved afterward. They could even plant Laura's belongings in the car trunk to make her look guilty. Eden points out that the witness could still ruin everything. Virginia then admits she lied. There is actually no witness. She only said that to test him. She asks why he didn't tell her the full truth earlier. Eden confesses that he wanted to see if she would come up with a plan to frame Thomas. He insists he saw Thomas that night and is sure Thomas is responsible. Virginia then asks Eden to point out on a map the exact place where they dumped the car. Standing near the window, she says there's something else he still hasn't told her. Finally, Eden admits the most horrifying detail. Daniel was still alive when they pushed the car into the lake. He was breathing. Laura panicked and decided to drown the car anyway. Eden says that if the body is ever found, the autopsy would show Daniel died from drowning, not the crash, and that's why he desperately needs Virginia's help. Hearing this, Virginia is deeply disturbed. She tells him her job is to protect him in court, not save him from his own sins. She realizes he has been manipulating her the entire time. She says maybe his story is true, but it's also possible that Laura wasn't the mastermind at all. Maybe Eden caused the accident, lied repeatedly, and even stole the money himself. Laura's medical report shows she suffered from severe anxiety. Perhaps the guilt broke her. Maybe she contacted Thomas, confessed everything, and arranged the hotel meeting to pay him compensation. Maybe she even messaged Eden from her own phone for protection. Virginia suggests that Eden might have killed Laura and then invented this complicated story to cover himself. When Eden asks why Daniel's parents never came forward, Virginia explains that without a body, they couldn't prove anything. She then reveals something shocking. The photo showing Thomas's wife at the hotel was edited. She had actually been watching Eden from a building across from his apartment the whole time. She has been investigating him ever since Laura's death. Under intense pressure, Eden finally breaks and admits that he killed Laura and staged everything. At that moment, his lawyer leaves a voicemail asking him to call back urgently. Virginia suggests taking a 10-minute break so he can return the call. She quickly leaves the apartment. While alone, Eden calls Felix, who tells him he has already paid off the driver to stay quiet. Suddenly, the call drops. Then Eden notices ink leaking from the pen in his pocket. When he checks it, he realizes it isn't just a pen, it's a hidden microphone. And he suddenly remembers that Virginia had handed it to him earlier, before. Leaving Virginia, had quietly taken Eden's phone and switched it off so no signal interference would disturb the recording. From the window, Eden looks toward the building across from his apartment and notices Thomas standing next to Virginia. That's when the shocking truth hits him. Virginia isn't a lawyer at all. She is actually Elvira, Thomas's wife, and Daniel's mother, who had approached him using a fake identity to extract the truth. The two of them have just used Eden's full confession as evidence and immediately called the police. Moments later, the real Virginia Eden's actual lawyer arrives at his house, proving he has been completely tricked. Eden freezes in shock, realizing he has walked straight into a trap and there is no way out now. With his own confession recorded, his punishment is inevitable. And that's where the story ends. The message is simple. If you ever get into an accident, don't panic or run away. Help the injured person, because even a small act of humanity can save someone's life. Share your thoughts about this story in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and your loved ones. Bye, friends.